We're speaking here to Bill Cooper, and what would you classify yourself as, just in a couple words or less?
Well, I don't know what you mean by that.
Like, who are you? Like, if somebody said, I was listening to CITR and I heard Bill Cooper, he's,
I'm an average, ordinary person just like anybody else, not any smarter, not any dumber, who's really seriously concerned about the future of our freedom.
Okay. Is it my understanding, from what I've understood from seeing your videotapes, is it true that the U.S. Army possesses spaceships and will eventually fake an alien invasion in which will unite the world under the leadership of Freemasons?
That's one of the scenarios.
So how did the U.S. Army, who seems to be bundling a lot of stuff, how did they get a hold of alien craft, and how long have we had contact with them?
Well, first place, it's not the U.S. Army. It's secret agencies within the United States government that are under control of the secret society. These things are being flown at a super-secret test site called Groom Dry Lake, or Area 51 in the state of Nevada. We have them on videotape, extensive footage, both at night and daylight. They are what people normally call UFOs, flying saucers. Some of them are circular-shaped, that are owned and operated by humans. They're either remote-controlled or have human pilots. We're not exactly sure which. But they're not extraterrestrial at all. They're the result of a secret technology that were originally developed by the Germans during World War II, but not perfected to the state of being used as a weapons platform.
How did we get a hold of the technology? Like, did we meet aliens?
No, we took it from the Germans.
We took it from the Germans. Okay, how did the aliens, have anybody in the U.S. government ever met any aliens?
We don't know if there are any aliens at all.
Well, wasn't there, an alien craft that crashed that you refer back to? Were an alien craft ever crashed, landed?
We don't know. We know that the government has set up a scenario where there is evidence that seems to point that something crashed, which has been interpreted as an extraterrestrial craft with dead extraterrestrial bodies. But these could have been monkeys with their ears and tail cut off and surgical intervention done to their eyes, and who knows what it was.
Okay, how did the Germans get this technology then?
They developed it with their science.
So, so you're saying, well, just moving something a bit closer to home here,
Let me put it this way for you so that you'll understand it a little better. Governments cannot exist unless the people feel threatened. The primary job of a government is to give the people a modicum of safety. The United States government was formed by a union of the states for their mutual benefit and protection. Okay? Now, to have a one-world government and tear down all the national boundaries, you have to instill the people of the world with enough fear that they're willing to give up what they used to be loyal to and join with something that's new that they don't know what it's going to be. What better way to do that than if the Earth were attacked or invaded by some other species from some other planet, whether real or imagined?
Okay, what about abductions? If
you start looking into the actual research and development of brainwashing and mind control techniques by the United States, Great Britain, Canada, the Soviet Union, and others, and if you'll look at the mind control experiments and the actual lobotomies that were performed on people in hospitals in Canada, you'll see that this alien abduction thing is probably the most sophisticated and successful mind control operation ever conducted in the history of the world, and it's designed to make us believe that we're being threatened by some other species from some other planet so that they can have their one world government.
But didn't you say in one of your papers that there was an agreement that aliens were allowed to pluck people from Earth?
No. You see, this is what happens. People don't read what I write. What I said was, this is what I saw in documents when I was in naval intelligence.
So you're saying there are no UFOs out there?
No, that's not what I said. UFOs are real. I can prove that at least some of them are owned and operated by humans here on this Earth.
Okay, they're humans, but there's no alien ones.
We don't know.
So you don't know?
I don't know if aliens exist or not, but I will tell you this. In 1917, John Dewey said this in 1917. What better way to unite all humanity in a one-world government than if we were attacked by some other species from some other planet?
Wasn't E.T. based on a true story?
If what I saw in government documents when I was in naval intelligence is true, then yes. If not, it's just another part of the conditioning of our collective consciousness to accept the reality of something that doesn't exist.
And we've been on the moon since 1948 as well.
Yeah, what I'm trying to tell you is nobody really knows, but whatever the truth about UFOs is, it's being used to make us give up our freedoms and join in a one-world totalitarian socialist state, and that's what we better be careful of.
So people want some proof. Where can they delve deeper besides from your stuff?
Right after World War II, A.V. Rowe built a veritable city in northwest Canada to work on top-secret aviation developments, one of which was the flying disc, which is called flying saucers or UFOs.
Which city?
Research A.V. Rowe. Find their secret test sites, and you'll be able to film these things flying in Canada just like I can film them flying here.
I saw a documentary on it, and they said it was a failed craft. Well, I guess according to you, it wasn't failed.
That was to convince the public that we humans don't have the technology necessary to build one of those things, which was a disinformation program called Project Snowbird.
To tell you the truth, when I first heard about what you're doing, I thought you were saying, aliens crashed, we stole their craft, and we have the technology, and people are allowed to be plucked from the earth. But as you've told me now, that's wrong, right?
My paper, the initial press release that I did was called Operation Majority, and it was a list of things that I could remember seeing pertaining to UFOs in top-secret documents while I was in Naval Intelligence. The second document that I released was called The Secret Government, which, if what I had seen in those documents was true, and if what I'd been able to research was true, and that others had researched, and documents released under the FOIA were true, then it was, in fact, the history, as close as anybody's ever been able to write the history of extraterrestrial visitation to this Earth. If not, it's what they want us to believe. And at the beginning of that, I had a hypothesis statement saying that this is a hypothesis based upon this, this, and this, which has been taken off. And at the end, I had 5 conclusions. Number 5 was the fact that this could be the greatest hoax in the history of the world, designed to create an alien threat that does not exist to bring about a one-world government.
Now, I don't want to regress, but
yeah,
did you attempt to contact Oliver Stone before he went into pre-production for the movie JFK?
That's correct. Attempted over and over again, hundreds of times, to contact him. Not only myself, but intermediaries and other people. He absolutely refused to acknowledge our existence or even speak to us. And when you watch his film, you'll see that what he's doing is blaming everything on our government. What he's saying, in effect, is constitutional government doesn't work, and that's a lie, in order to get us to be dissatisfied so that we'll accept the New World Order when it comes.
So do you think that the name Oliver Stone is like a pseudonym, and that Stone has to do with the actual basic teachings of the Freemason religion, what you were talking about?
Absolutely, and he must be a member, because he shows in his film that he knows who really killed Kennedy, and in the way that he does it, he's actually laughing at the rest of us.
Yeah.
When Garrison and Prouty are sitting on the park bench in Washington, D.C., and they're talking about why, and he says, that's the question, isn't it? Why?
So
who had the power? Who had the opportunity? Who had this? Who had that? And then the camera moves back, and they become real tiny in the picture. In fact, you can barely see them, and there's one dominating scene. There's one dominating part of that picture, and that is the Washington Monument, which is the obelisk, the phallus, the lost word of Freemasonry, the light blue.
How about the Bermuda Triangle? Are you into that at all?
No. Listen, let me make one thing perfectly clear here. I'm not into mysterious things or witchcraft or disappearing ships or anything like that. My only purpose, and the only reason I even began to do any of this, is because I believe that sometime in the near future we're all in danger of losing the affluence that we worked hard for. We're in danger of losing our personal freedoms and becoming somebody's slave in the New World Order. And that's the only thing I care about, that's the only thing I'm fighting, and that's the only reason I'm doing any of this.
Okay, who are the bad guys? Who are the bad guys just right off the bat? The Masons?
Well, nobody's really a bad guy. You got to understand that these guys aren't doing this because they're evil or they think that they're bad. They're doing it because they actually believe that it's the best for all humanity. But their assumption is wrong. Anything that has to be manipulated, anything that has to be brought about by lies and deceit is inherently wrong in its premise to begin with.
Now, thanks, Mr. Cooper. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
And keep on rocking in a free world.
Thank you, and God bless you and your listeners.